Welcome to the channel where we cover true crime, fandoms, fantasy, and other topics. So let us get right into it. What exactly is this conflict with the Alanzo blog, Alanzo, and Dianetics? Well, I covered this previously a few months ago, and again, whether you like Alanzo or not, he definitively showed he was getting a persistent set of threats from Dianetics, and apparently she's escalated it to taking away his blog because I would assume this is Google. Google is not willing to stand up for free speech, and that is where we are. But it's getting more and more weird, and I want to be clear: I am not officially endorsing that channel. This channel is independent of that channel. However, I do think on the First Amendment issue, Alonzo does have a strong case, and if you want the full evidence, I already played some of the evidence on this channel of a video clip where basically Dianetics is admitting that she's getting a lot of help from Aaron Smith-Levin. Now, Aaron is supposed to be in charge of a charity that helps ex-Scientologists, and it's not supposed to be able to discriminate in this way. If he is literally outright giving money and quid pro quo, they do propaganda for him, I'm not sure how that's even legal, but apparently that is what's going on. And Aaron took away that video from his own channel, the main channel, Growing Up in Scientology. So that's a little fishy, but apparently Alonso was able to find the clips and he is playing the clip on his channel. I cannot do so because Aaron persistently and consistently copyrights this channel for trying to use anything. It doesn't matter if it's fair use, doesn't matter. And Kelly Copter's the same way. She's copyright striking channels, whether they deserve it or not, and so on and so forth. So it is pretty clear that SPTV has a persistent dilemma of trying to censor critics. Again, you may not like these people. I may not like these people, but why are they being censored? Don't know, but they are being censored. And I'm going to read out some of these, very provocative things that Dianetics issued to Alonzo. And again, I can't say the full thing due to YouTube, and they're very sensitive. But anyway, and this is her quote: "And some of these women are not like me, where I could, like I said, take Alonzo's bacon grease F thyroid gland and rip it out of his F throat, which I will do." End quote. Now, obviously, I don't think she seriously means this, but that is a threat, and a threat is a threat. And later on, in another violent outburst, she says, quote, "Ex-Scientologists do not know how to fight me because I don't fight Scientology style. I fight, I am going to drop you to your knees style, which is WOG style. Muay and capoeira predominantly contribute to my ability to do so. I've been practicing both for years." Right. Anyway, yeah, she's often in Fantasyland. Believe me, she's extremely tiny, and the idea that she is some kind of Bruce Lee martial artist or Jet Li is, whatever. Okay, continuing. "I will easily take that bacon grease." He likes going back to the bacon. Okay, I'm skipping a few words. "And stuff it up his pork rind, etc., etc., etc." And there you go. Now, again, I am not claiming that Alanzo is some pure angel. She's making some pretty crazy accusations. To my knowledge, she's provided zero evidence. There's no evidence that Alonzo has done what she alleges, which is presumably as bad or worse. So we're stuck. But he has documented everything. He has provided a lot of video and textual evidence. I don't know why, but I think this video that had what I'm reading to you, it was on his blog. I remember it quite clearly. So it's clearly he's still able to get into his blog, but he can't make it public. So there we are. But he took that video down. So I don't know. Now we're going to get into the disagreement phase of this discussion. So it seems pretty clear that Aaron Smith-Levin, SPTV, is running this massive propaganda spy network. And to be clear, he sometimes does use this against, quote, Scientology per se, although it's kind of pathetic. I mean, one of his latest video is he's just mocking Grant Cardone for allegedly his wife cheating on him, Grant Cardone. This is a man who openly is cheating on his wife with a mistress. So I don't know. I guess that's a win for Aaron because he's the one doing the cheating, whereas Grant Cardone's the victim, and that's the level of anti-Scientology he engages in. And there we are. So it's more devoted to really going after anti-Scientology activists, which is kind of weird because that's what the official church does. And now Aaron is doing the same thing. Now let me get to some disagreement with Alanzo because now he's trying to embrace Defender of Anti-DOA, and he's very effusive with his praise, saying he's one of the greatest, most beautiful activists of all time. Well, good or bad, I'd have to acknowledge that DOA has done some activism, although his activism is so bizarre and all over the place. His various causes include Palestine, January 6th, BLM, and now allegedly anti-Scientology. And he's left a lot of victims along the way. A lot of people have had their money stolen, trust broken, and he has, to put it mildly, very contentious conflict with his own family. Now, some of this is purely private, so I don't want to get into that. But he clearly has betrayed many friends, and he does have a list of victims. They've gone public. They provided a lot of evidence. If you want more on that, go to the dance and the channel there. So I don't know why Alonzo is going overboard with praise for DOA, but I guess now DOA is an ally against Aaron and an ally against Aaron and Dianetics. So we're not going to be talking about DOA's victims anymore. But no, those victims do exist. They should be acknowledged. I can understand Alonzo's stance here, where he's been driven against the wall and doesn't have many choices, so he needs to find allies where he can find them. I understand all that, but I think he does have to acknowledge the victims of DOA. I don't see how you can maintain consistency there. But that is me, and that is my criticism. That said, I do think, independent of Alanzo, we should have some value for the First Amendment. Although I will be totally honest, dealing with this, I'm going to call it the anti-Scientology movement because that's not what Aaron or Liz Gale or Dianetics or these people engage in. This is not anti-Scientology. This is just thuggery by any other means. And let me not forget to include Jenna Miscavige, who knowingly is helping Aaron attack innocent people. So yeah, it's just a mess all around. And obviously both sides are getting so terrible with the fight with fire mentality that who cares anymore? So certain things are important. And only a decade and a half ago, the anti-Scientologists and anonymous protesters could together affirm that free speech is valuable. The official church was trying to stop free speech, and they were united there. Now it's just totally collapsed. So at this point, I have to go with where the receipts are. Alonzo is at least providing receipts. I'm not joining him in embracing DOA. Again, when DOA does do good work, we should praise it, right? Because he has done some good stuff. Problem is, does it make up for the bad stuff? I don't think it does, but that is my judgment. And DOA's victims have brought receipts, so whatever you think about them, whether you, again, like Riddle, don't like Riddle, KT Pita, the Dant, whatever, they brought receipts, so the receipts seem pretty solid. Again, we don't have to follow them on everything, but receipts should probably weigh in terms of who to believe here. And despite my own very strong biases against Dianetics, because she's a very vile, toxic, well, she's just very vile. Again, if women want to do very adult comedy and be very raunchy or whatever, hey, that is their choice. Some women do it well. I don't consider Dianetics a great comedian, and she's definitely not this great martial artist, ninja woman. I mean, this woman just is living in a unhinged fantasy world. But again, even I'm going to be open. If she has receipts, thus far she has zero receipts for her accusation, so that is where we are. Now you might say, okay, devil's advocate, well, maybe she's trying to protect the privacy of certain people. I've been in that situation. I cannot tell the whole truth because certain people say, don't mention me, don't mention my name, don't even allude to me. So I'm like, okay, fine. That is their wish. They've shared information, so that will be kept confidential. But neither Dianetics nor Aaron seem to care about privacy, and they openly dox people all the time, enemies and friends, and they slip out tons of private information. So I doubt it's privacy that's holding back Dianetics. So why she doesn't have any receipts, I don't know. So we have her on the record threatening Alanzo and other people and acting like a vile person and doing tons of pro-Aaron propaganda and then whining about women being stalked and harassed, even though clearly, again, being the most generous person, Aaron has clearly done that. The female victims have told me he's done that. So, and we have video evidence of this. So I don't know what Dianetics wants. I mean, again, if she can show some receipts, she at least has an argument. But at this point, she has no receipts and no argument, and that is where we are. So I'm going to support Alanzo in terms of the First Amendment issue, but these other issues, Well, you'll have to decide. I think he's going a little overboard in his praise of DOA, but that is me. And to finish off, very grateful thanks to all the channel members and their contributions. I will be putting up some new stuff, videos, memes, polls, and images for them. Please come in. The basic membership is fairly cheap and it has tons, and I do mean tons of videos. I will be doing videos for the other tiers. I'm sorry to the alpha tier. I put up some stuff for the other tiers, but I want to give the alpha people some things as they're putting in the most. So thank you very much and have a good day.